Hello, Claire.
Hello, you all right?
I'm all right. How are you, darling?
I'm all good, thank you.
Good. Now,
All
I've
good.
asked you to come on my podcast because you have got just one of the most remarkable stories I think I've ever heard. So, tell me, what is this remarkable story, or sort of, I think it's this remarkable story that this journey that you've been on over the last few years. Tell me in your own words, sort of like, what you've done.
See, I don't see it as that remarkable. I just see it as me being
It's
me.
incredible.
um, Long story short, all throughout my life, bullied at school for being overweight. Um, just I've always been a bigger girl, always have
Okay.
been. Um, until one day suddenly something clicked and I was like, I've got to change something. So I started looking into exercise, that kind of thing. I found a class called, it's one of the Les Mills classes called Body Combat.
Right.
And I went to the class and I was like, oh my God, I love this. Absolutely love it. So I kept going. And that to begin with, that's all I did. I just kept going to these body combat classes, fell in love, and I enjoyed exercise. But then gradually I was like, what else can I do? I found one called Pump, started doing different things, like mainly classes, really.
Mm.
I was like, what next? What next? So I started looking into nutrition, started learning about, the body and everything. And before you know it, a few years later, I've lost 8 stone, kept it off. I still do regular exercise. And it was like one day, someone actually who was an instructor actually said to me, "I was like, why aren't you teaching the classes?" And I was like, because I'm just me. That's not what I do. They actually encouraged me to take that step into becoming an instructor. So originally, people kept asking me, like, how have you lost all this weight? How have you done it? And I never really felt like qualified. So, well, what worked for me probably won't work for anyone else.
Yeah.
So I did my level 2 in gym instructing. I started on Les Mills courses, and then before you know it, I'm now actually a qualified personal trainer, and that's what I do for a job every day. Gave up my full-time payroll job, and now I'm just in the gym full-time, loving life.
Doing what you absolutely love and brings you joy. Um,
Love it. Yeah,
so how long ago was this? How long ago you showed me a picture a
yeah.
few weeks ago? How long ago was that taken?
That was 2018. I was just getting married. So since 2018, really, I've been,
So this is less than 5 years.
yeah, yeah. Around 2017, I started thinking I want to do something. Never knew what to do. And it was around 2018 where I really started putting things into place of, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Before I ask you what the catalyst was, how did the bullying affect you? Because you said you were bullied for your weight. How
Yeah.
did that affect you and affect your mentality and the way you looked at life?
I mean, I had bouts of depression, anxiety. I think, to be honest, even now it still affects you to this day, because, like, I know when people look at me, they don't look at me and think, oh, she's a personal trainer, you can tell she works out. And I think in my head, I'll always be the big girl. So, like, people come into my classes, like, you see fitness instructors, they'll wear like tight leggings and like a sports bra, and that will be what they exercise in. Whereas if you look at me, I'm always in like a baggy t-shirt
Mhm.
and I think like clothes and that. And I think that's more of a mental thing for me. I'll always be the big girl. Like, I never feel fully confident in me, and should I really be doing this? That kind of thing. So I think that all stems from years and years of, you'll never be good enough, you'll never be, you'll always be the big girl. And I think it sticks in your head. So I think mentally, even now, like years and years later, it's still in the back of your head.
What was the catalyst for you to? You said something clicked and something changed. What was that change? Can you identify it?
Um, to begin with, me and my husband were going to try for IVF. They
Right.
told us you can't have kids.
You said you got married around that time as well.
Yeah, around that time. So that's when we were considering it before, really. I mean, kids were never something that I really thought of. I need to have kids. I've never been very maternal anyway. But then when a doctor suddenly tells you you can't have kids, you're like, beg your pardon?
I'll
Who are you?
see about that, shall we?
Yeah. And then when it turned out like you need IVF if you're ever going to have kids and everything. So I thought, well, we'll see what the process is. We'll go to like the appointment, see what they say we need to do. And I was like, oh, you need to lose a load of weight before we'll even consider you.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like, let's have a look. So I did start to lose weight for that reason. But then it just became, I was doing it for me more than anything. During that process, me and my husband decided we're not actually that bothered about kids. We've got 2
Right.
dogs, a nice house. We can go on nice holidays. I don't actually want them.
You sound like me and my missus, mate. You really do.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you've been bullied at school. You've been told you will always be the big girl and whatever. And then you finally got this reason, whatever the reason is, and it's different for everybody. There was a reason. I had a reason as well when I started getting fit, and it's different for everybody. So you got this reason. What was it like going to your first class, to your first like gym, your first gym class?
Absolutely terrifying because I thought I'm going to be the biggest one there. I'm going to turn up. And I did a class first. I'd been to gyms throughout my life. Never really knew what I did. So I just went on a treadmill for a bit.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I'll sit on a bike and, you kind of pondering around thinking, what next? You're looking around, seeing all these fit people doing this, that, and the other thing. God, I'll never do that. So that's why I thought I'll go to a class because I don't know what I'm doing. I'll go to a class because they'll tell you what to do. They've got the encouragement and the motivation to do this, do that. And if you're doing something wrong, they correct you. So if they're saying do a squat and your form's correct, they'll say pull your chest up or push your hips back, that kind of thing. So the first one I went to, I think it was a combat class. And then did the warm-up track. And I was like, right then, warm up. That's the warm-up time. I was like, that's the warm-up.
I've said those very words to you at the beginning of one of your warm-ups. That is not a warm-up.
It is, but it's amazing how encouraging it, because I was like, they're saying go to the left, go to the right. And I don't know my left and right as it is. And I was thinking, oh, God, everyone's going to be looking at me. But they're not, because they're all going the wrong way as well.
Yes.
And the thing is, no one is actually looking at you. No one actually cares. They're too busy thinking about what am I doing? What way is right? What way is left? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're too busy in their moment and enjoying, because people who go to these classes, I mean, I've been to gyms loads of times and been to just the gym floor, and I never become a regular goer. It was just one of those things. I turned up in January, New Year's resolution. We'll have a conversation there about those people in a bit. And I ended up signing a 2-year contract at 30 quid a month or whatever it was. This is going back 15, 20 years when 30 quid was worth 30 quid now, not 360 like it is now. But and I went 4 times in 2 years, and each gym visit cost me about 80 quid. But I was just going to the gym floor. It's a different experience, isn't it? The classes.
Yeah, massively. I think you get the it's like the morale of the room as well, because everyone is there for the same reason. And you'll find especially a lot of the Les Mills classes, people have done Les Mills before and they enjoy it, so they go because it's Les Mills.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, I think I've said to you before, when you've come to my classes, I love you being at the front because you're just like, yeah, let's go for it. And then that as an instructor spurs me on, which then makes other people like, yeah, let's do it, the kind of thing. Like you get them shouting, cheering, like, come on, let's everyone's in it together. You get that whole kind of energy boost from the room, which you won't get in the gym. You don't get everyone in the gym doing the same exercises because they're off doing this, that, and the other. You know, you don't get that really as much in a gym as you do in a class.
So that first class, did you get the old DOMs?
Oh man, the next day I woke up and I was like, what is going? I've got aches in places I didn't even know there were muscles. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, you know, when you're walking down the steps and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Everything was, you go and sit on the toilet, you're like, oh, like, I'm just going to sit here for a while because I can't get up.
I think you get that pain because it's like you have to, it's like the fitness and what you're going to get so much reward.
Yeah.
It's like your body going, right, never let it get to this stage again. Because
Yes.
you'd never get that. The first time I remember I went 4 kilometers. The run was 4 kilometers and it was just between benches and we did benches and whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like 50 minutes. I collapsed at the end and I couldn't pick up a cup of coffee. It was, and I remember the missus at the time, she was saying, Gordon, it's never going to be this bad again. This is the worst it's going to get.
Yeah.
But you obviously got the bug from going, and the Les Mills classes. I love Les Mills. Whatever you like, there's going to be a Les Mills class for you. And I'm really lucky that I've got a gym in my area that does it. And because I got fit using Les Mills during lockdown, when all the gyms were closed, that's when I got fit. But anyway, so you go to the gym and you've obviously got the bug, and you start going back.
Yeah.
Do you start noticing that did you start noticing the weight is dropping off you? Because you mean, no offense, but that's another you that you've lost there. You know, that's another Claire that's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it was all gradually, to be honest. Like you say with the DOMs, I would say like the muscle fibre, you're tearing muscle fibres that haven't been torn, and
Yeah.
that's being replaced. So I always say, anyone who's like saying, I'm put off by that, the next time you go, it won't be as bad because you've already torn them.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be as bad. It's never as bad as that first time.
If you don't use it, you lose it, and that's your body
Exactly.
saying you've lost it. You need to get it back.
I've noticed it after, like, if I've like been away on holiday and I've not really trained as much, I've come back, I'm like, oh, I can tell I've trained today. Yeah, what was we going on about before?
Yeah,
I said that?
so you start? You said it's gradual. At what point?
Gradual.
How long is it before you decide? Right, I'm gonna be a Les Mills instructor. How many years go by? How?
Well, was say 2017, 2018 I started. I only became a Les Mills instructor last year. So
Was it
2022.
was it instructors was it the people who you were that were taking the classes that were encouraging you to do it?
Yeah, so once I started going to the body combat classes, I actually changed gyms as well. And when I found another instructor in combat, and I was like, oh, just look, do you know what? And I was just thinking, oh, what a job you have to teach this, you know, because I went to the classes and I loved it so much, and I was always thinking, what a job.
So
What an
explain
job
for
you have.
people who don't know what it is. Explain a body combat class. What are we doing in body combat?
So it's
I
very high.
love this. I
Yeah,
love this class.
it's very high cardio. It's punching, it's kicking, it's like kicking ass, really. Like you just have a shitload of fun. Am I allowed to swear?
You
Yeah.
bloody bastard bugger bum bollocks.
Yes. You just have a shitload of fun. It's just fun. You know, you're punching, you kick, depending on what structure you get as well. You got one that's like, come on, don't let them get off the floor. And you're like,
Yeah.
Like, whether you're picturing your partner in your head or something, you know, that kind of thing, like, get him. It's just, you know, it is a choreographed routine. So you will start off with like a jab and a cross, jab, cross, and then they'll do some add-ons of jab, cross, upper, and it's like a gradual building of movements. So it's easy enough to follow, but you know, the first one you go to, you're going to be like, what?
It's martial arts. It's proper martial arts training.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean, how many different? You've got
Muay Thai,
capoeira, Muay Thai,
boxing,
kickboxing,
kung fu,
kung fu,
taekwondo,
taekwondo, karate.
karate.
capoeira,
Yes.
and I think there's some
They're
others
like
in there as well.
but they add in like power training as well. So
Yeah,
they do
there's
like
got mixed MMA training, that sort of
yeah,
thing. It's a
yeah,
whole body workout, and
yeah,
you really do feel it in your whole body. So
yeah.
you started becoming you start when do you start training to become this instructor then? Was it during lockdown you were telling me?
Yes. So originally I was
Talk about, and
doing
don't let anything stop you, people. Don't let any listen to this story. This is incredible.
I was doing the body combat course. So during lockdown, I was like, right, this is where I'm going to do it. I've got time, everyone's at home, you can't do anything. And they were offering these online courses where you could do it. So you have like a training day with them, like over a Zoom call like this. But they give you tracks in advance to prepare.
Do you have
So
to pay for this?
yeah, you have to pay for it. They give you tracks to prepare where you have to film yourself teaching those tracks to nobody, just to
Right.
yourself. So you have to learn them, learn the routines, learn what you're going to say, like jab cross, that kind of thing, and then film yourself. So I'd practiced and practiced. I was like, yes, I've got my jumps really. I've got these ones with these big ass jumps and everything. I've been practicing like doing box jumps. I've gotten them like really high. So I thought I'm going to look badass for this. Setting up my camera, got my camera set up in the room. And I was like, right, I'm just going to practice. Have I got the right angle? That because they have specific requirements of what you have to do. So I was like, set my camera. Didn't realise the dog was actually in the room. So I was halfway through doing these jumps, and you can see the dog actually going. And then as I'm in the air, she's like, boom, straight in underneath
So
my
you've
feet.
got a recording of this?
Yeah, it's all on film.
Oh, I've got to see. How have I not seen this? How can I?
Yeah.
So
Turns out, getting out the way of the dog, broke my ankle, broke my arm.
So during lockdown as well, when the country's gone crazy, how long were you out for?
It was probably about 3 months. I was in a cast, leg, my ankle and my arm.
Right.
And then it was a lot of it. I mean, healing time. I'm still healing now, really.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. Like my ankle is nowhere near what it was. Like, especially like I've obviously done the course and everything now. I still struggle with the high jumps because it's that impact of my ankle.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'll feel it like because it was like back here on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I'm doing things like press ups, I'm like, oh, so you might see me occasionally go onto my fist for press ups.
Right.
That's because it's playing up. So even now, I'm still having problems with him.
Is the dog all right?
The dog's fine. Everyone says, but how's the dog? Is she all right? Yeah, she was fine. And it took me about 3 months to play the video back because I love my horror movies, my gore and everything like that. But the one thing for me is teeth and bones. I can't watch anything. So it took me about 3 months to watch the video back. But as I did, you can see the dog, like she realises straight away, oh shit, I've done something bad here.
Yeah.
She's run up, she's like licking my face and like, I was like, oh, okay, she does love me. She wasn't doing it just to hurt me.
So I mean, so you're out for, I mean, 3 months out of cast. You probably take another 6 months to recover just to be able to get to the stage where you can run around and what have you.
Yeah.
You can't be a body combat instructor because, like you say, you're still healing. You are now. So what do you do then? What do you do?
Well, luckily Les Mills were very They were like, no, we completely understand why you can't do the course. So I actually switched to body pump, which is the barbell weight and everything. Obviously, they said, take your time, you know, get to where you need. But body pump is low impact, isn't it? You're not jumping, kicking, and all the
Yeah,
basics.
it's your body pump is
Yeah,
the weights. It's
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 weights.
the Les Mills weights and the
Yeah,
core, and it's really good. I love it. I love
yeah.
class too.
So while I couldn't do any exercise, I thought, right, here's the time. I'd done my level 2 gym instructor. It was hard writing. I had to learn to write with my other hand.
Yeah,
But that's where I took a lot of my learning in, of reading books, you know, online stuff, doing all that kind of stuff to become level 2 gym instructor.
excellent. So by the time like lockdown ends, I suppose you hit the ground running and taking classes, your first classes. What was that like, taking your first class? Because obviously you mentioned how the bullying. I'm from that background too, and I know how much it affects your confidence.
Yeah.
Especially your confidence takes a real hit from it. What's that like, taking your first class
I
an
absolutely
instructor?
sat my pants. And it's actually at the gym that I was at now. Um there's actually a few people. Luckily, when it was, I think it was around October, November, December. So if you go to a gym, you know, end of the year, no one's actually ever really
Yeah,
there because they're all in Christmas mode, and I'll start in January. So I was quite lucky. It was quite a quiet class, but some of the ones who were in my class actually still come to my classes now. And I actually had one of them a couple of weeks ago come up to me and she went, "Do you know what, Claire?" She went, "I absolutely love coming to your classes and I've seen your journey." She says, "If you look at how you did your first class to how you do your class now," she went, "your confidence has just gone through the roof." She says, "It's so nice to be able to see from a member's point of view that actually not everyone has confidence in, you know, teaching." She says, "You obviously know what you're doing." She says, "But you can see like you were nervous in that first one. Whereas now I'm just like, yeah, whack 'em."
you're fantastic. The energy that you give to the class and the talking. I remember, I mean, my Mrs. Hitch, who you've met, she as you know, has done Les Mills for years in London at Virgin gyms. And she said that if you had a body combat class in London, it would be full up within minutes and there would be a queue of people waiting for it. She says, "You're absolutely brilliant." And
Aw,
I cannot stress how good your body pump, especially your body combat classes, are just getting better each one, but you've only been doing them a few months.
yeah,
But the body pump classes, the way you talk is really so important. You make it fun. And like last night, you were having fun with people and you were joking. And Hitch was saying the best instructor she ever had was a Scottish guy, a little Filipino Scottish guy. Yeah, can you
yeah.
imagine that? A little Filipino with a really thick Scottish accent? And when he was doing body combat, he was like, "What do you say about my mum?" and stuff like that. You know, keep them on the floor. And when you do, people have so much fun. There was a body attack class last night, which was like HIIT that Deb did at the same gym, and we were running to the corner. People were getting lost running to the corner, and they were having such a great time. I can't stress enough that if people are thinking about it, to just go and do it. You won't regret it, especially go to a class. I joined the gym up here, and that's how we got to know you about 4 months ago. And the reason I joined is because I went to a class in London with the missus, just a Zumba class, and I loved the energy that I got from the room. And since I've started going to these classes and your classes, my fitness has gone to another level, just because you react to people around you, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. And I just think as well, like when you're doing it at home, I mean, I was doing it at home during lockdown as well. Think, oh, yeah, I don't like this one, skip. I don't like that track, skip. You know, there's no one there forcing you to do
Yeah,
it. Yeah. And while the instructors aren't forcing you to like go above what you're capable of, you've got this energy of everyone around. Sometimes you have like a competition, like with other people without them knowing. So
Yeah.
if like there's someone next to me who I know that they're really good, if they're still going, why aren't I still going? So I'm like, no, I've got to keep, but they're still going, I'm keeping going. You know, and it comes to stuff like burpees, like, well, they're doing burpees, I better do them. You know, you kind of get that competition with other people of, come on, like let's do it. Like, you know, it's like keeping each other going
Yeah, it's a competition with each other, but it's really a competition with
with
yourselves.
yourself.
But
Yeah.
it's not competitive, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
I feed that there's a guy who comes to the gym regularly, and I see him, and we do that, and we've talked about how I'll be flagging and I'll look over and I'll see his form during a kick is much better than mine, so I have to try and he said that he'll, you know, when it comes to the burpees, he's like, I inspire him to go further because I'm you know, I'm doing the burpees so well, and that's what happens. You just feed off each other's energy, and you get fit sort of as a matter of it's something on the side that happens, and it's just like a byproduct, isn't it?
And it's like, as you say, like you do find people like where you go, well, if they're still going, I've got to keep going. But they're actually thinking, bloody hell, they're still going, I've got to keep going. And it's like back and forth. So without even realizing, you two are like bouncing off each other. I'm keeping going because he is. You know, she is. You just bouncing off each other without even realizing.
What's the help? What you see how you sorted out your nutrition? What did you change with your diet?
Well, for me, I've always had a sweet tooth. And I've done that many diets. I've done like the Cambridge where you literally have 3 shakes a day and starve. You do lose a shitload of weight, but as soon as you eat again, you put it all back on. I've done Slimming World where, you know, they call things sins. But straight away, you're demonising food. You're demonising food, which is giving
It's
you
the
that
demon.
unhealthy.
It's the devil.
It is. It is. But you're straight away giving food that, oh, I can't eat that. It's a
Yeah.
sin. Like, come on.
You're giving into you're setting yourself up for temptation, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. And it was only really when I really started looking into it. There was I don't know if you've seen them on Facebook. There's one called Team RH.
No.
I looked at them. They he posts basically no bullshit advice about nutrition and how
Right.
to lose weight. And he started going on about things, and I was like, well, that makes so much sense. Like calorie counting and all that. And he was saying, like, basically, you can eat chocolate all day, every day, and you will still lose weight if you are in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
You know,
It's it's not advised, but
it's not advice. You won't be healthy.
Your skin will be awful, but
Yeah.
you will lose weight. It really is that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the science behind it, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was really when I started looking into it, like it was from that Team RH that I started looking into it in more depth. And I was like, this makes so much sense. Like, why has no one put it so easy before? Like, why are people making it so hard, calling food sins and points and shakes? Like, what the fuck?
So what did you change then? What did your diet become?
So for me, mine was calorie counting. And as I said, I always had a sweet tooth. I followed the 80-20 rule. 80% good, 20% shite.
Okay.
So for me, I had my calorie daily allowance. You can either do it daily or weekly, whichever one works for you. So for mine, I did daily, and I knew I wanted to eat a cake every single day. So when I worked out my calories, the first thing every day I would do is track a cake. Because
Okay.
I know I'm eating that cake.
So there's your reward right there.
Yeah. So I would work out the rest of my calories based around having that cake.
How many calories a day are we talking here? We're talking an
I think,
unhealthy amount, or you just wanted to be a deficit, and well, you did it slowly, you said.
I think I started at around 1,800 a day.
Okay.
So not too bad, really. That's quite, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
only
like everybody's going to have a different, and this is why some people the diet's going to be different for you, because obviously
yeah,
people. I mean, my missus, I say to my missus, she could travel to the North Pole on half a curly whirly. Well, that woman can. She burns calories so efficiently. So if she had 1,800 calories a day, she would quickly gain weight,
yeah,
even though she works out a lot, just because
yeah,
she's a dot. So obviously it always
yeah.
different. There's no one size fits all here, is there?
You've got to bear in mind as well, like I was 8 stone heavier. So you imagine carrying 8 stone around with you all day. You know, you pick up, I should have worked it out in kilograms how much it is, I don't know. If you think, like even now when people say, oh, I've lost so much and it's like 10 kilogram, you pick up a 10 kilogram weight in the
That's
gym and
60
imagine
kilograms.
carrying that around every day. And that's what you're doing. So bigger people are actually burning a lot more than really fit people because they've got all this extra weight that they're carrying. Do you know what I mean?
It's like 60 kilos, isn't it? 50.
There you go. So imagine 2 25-kilogram plates. You carry them around with you all day, every day.
You're going to lose weight on a curve, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, like, the idea is to eat as much as you can and lose weight. Like, people think they've got to starve to be able to lose weight, and it's wrong. When you starve and you take things out of your diet, you miss them. So a lot of the time I hear of people going, right, I'm having salad for lunch and dinner every day and I'm just going to have a shake. And I just think, why? Why?
Why
I
not just
know
go to another class? Why,
yeah,
if
I
you,
know I've done it. I have done it. I have been that person. But you can tell you, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they might stick to that.
yeah,
But then come Friday, Saturday, they're like, I want a few beers. I'm going to get a kebab on the way home. I'm going to have cake because they've deprived that from
yeah.
themselves all week. It's all they're thinking about is, I want a beer and a kebab. Sunday, they think, oh, fucked it now, and I'm just going to eat all day. So
Yeah.
then what they've eaten Friday, Saturday, Sunday actually takes them out of that deficit that they've been all week. If you look at it over a week, they've eaten over their calories, which is why they haven't lost weight.
And they're also not, they're starving their body of the vital nutrients and the energy that they need when they're
Yeah,
going to the classes during the week or going to the
yeah,
gym. That's when
yeah.
they need the nutrients in the classes, and
And
you're
they
not
need that
feeding your
energy.
body. You're
And
denying it.
they need that energy to burn in that class.
So
So
what
they'd
about
actually it would help them to have more energy during that class had they actually eaten.
when I first started getting fit? My journey was during lockdown as well. That's when I started getting fit. Just because I thought, oh, we're all going to die. I need to, I need to sort out my immune system. One of the first things that I realized after the DOMs that I got was how much better training made
Yeah,
everything else in my life. Have you
yeah,
felt the same way?
massively. When I knew I felt better, I knew I was happier, you know, I wasn't depressed or, anxious really because I was enjoying it. But when I really noticed it was when I broke my ankle and my arm. I couldn't do anything. I
Oh,
couldn't weight train. I couldn't go for a walk because one, I couldn't have any crutches because I'd got a broken arm, and two, I couldn't walk because I got a broken ankle. So for 3 months, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk, weight train. I couldn't do anything.
so you can see
And I was like,
yourself putting the weight back on that you'd lost as well,
yeah,
no doubt.
I think I put about 2 stone on in that 3 months. Because I like this is what I mean. Even personal trainers go through moments of fuck it.
Yeah.
We're human as well, and it got to a point, and like mentally, I was like, oh my god, I need to do something. In the end, I started doing just like core workouts because
Right.
I could do sit ups, and I was like, I'll just do that, work on my core, like a bit of stretching if I can, and just to get me doing
So
something.
you found a way to do, even with like a broken leg and a broken ankle and a broken arm, you still found a way to do. I've got viewers who are disabled. I know people who are in wheelchairs that watch my stuff, and they've pulled me up in the past because I've been so, oh, you should get out. There's obviously people who can't, physically haven't got the ability to do it, but you just prove it. There's always something we can do, isn't there?
Yeah, me and you are sat in this chair now. You've got all full use of your arms, everything.
Yeah.
You've got use of,
I mean, you could probably do body combat, the punches in body combat in your chair, couldn't you, if you've got that?
People do combat in a chair.
There was a girl who came to your body pump class last night, and she was asking you about body combat. I think she's new to everything, and you said to me, "What was your first body combat class?" And did it hurt? I'm like, "Oh yes, it hurt," because it's all your shoulders.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's whatever your ability. Whatever your fitness level, there is something, and I'm not affiliated with Les Mills at all, but there is something with that, and you will find something elsewhere if you really want to. It's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
What have been the other health benefits that you found? Have you found other like health benefits where you're breathing better? You can obviously, does that feed into your relationships?
Pretty much all that, really. You have more energy, For me, I used to think nothing of on a weekend staying in bed. I'd be asked.
Yeah.
I'll watch a film when I wake up. Then I'll probably go to the pub. Whereas you see my weekends now, I'm like, right, what mountain can I climb? I want to go and do this on, and my husband goes mad because he still likes his lions, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. We're like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? And he's like, oh my God, just go to sleep. So like energy levels of just everything, like you find a new meaning of life. Mm-hmm. Like before, I was happy just plodding along, not really doing anything. Like I hated my job. I hated, I worked Monday to Friday to go out and get pissed, to spend all of Sunday hungover, go out, get pissed. You'd spend 5 days of your life working in a job you hate, to spend the weekend hungover and be back to Monday going, oh, I'm back at here again.
Absolutely.
You find a new meaning of life. Like that, I found a new meaning of life. That's why I ditched the job. I actually ditched my payroll job to start work in the gym doing body combat and stuff. And that's when I broke my ankle and my arm. So I'd never had a day off sick in my life of 10 years working in payroll. My actual last day, which I was holiday annual leave, that's when I broke my ankle and my arm.
And like garden leave, that sort of thing, and that's when you broke your ankle on your very last day.
A very last day.
There's irony for you. How's it affected your depression? I know I've suffered from depression massively in the past.
Yeah.
I've had my own mental health problems, and I remember there was a tweet years ago by Katie Hopkins, who is not my favorite person by any means, but that's one of the reasons why I'm highlighting this, because she said that in her own, acidic way, she said that people who are depressed don't need a visit to the doctor. They need a pair of running shoes and a gym membership. And I remember the Facebook group I was in, there were lots of pink-haired girls who were very upset at what she'd said here. And I was like, hold on a minute. If you actually look at the statistics, exercise is way better for your mental health than anything a doctor will throw at you. And the efficacy of these drugs is questionable, at least, especially when you've got a Food and Drug Administration that is regulating this stuff, that is actually funded by the same industry that it's supposed to be regulating. That creates all sorts of conflicts of interest. How did it affect you? Because I know my mental health is so much better now because I'm fit.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think I think doctors do just dish out these depression tablets to anyone, really. I'm probably going to get a bit of a backlash for
Listen,
that.
I've been there. I've been there.
I've actually
They
been there,
do.
and you know, doctors have given me. I think I took tablets for a week, and I was like, "What am I doing?" And I stopped taking them. And don't get me wrong, I think they can help people. I really do think, because it is an imbalance in the brain. But exercise is proven, science proven, it releases the happy hormones in your brain. So when you exercise, when you train, you get these endorphins that just like, oh, I feel great.
Yeah,
And
a
you know, the
runner's
more you
high.
do it, the more you
Runner's
do
high
it.
is a real thing. Runners
Yeah,
get those high. It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
massive increase in drugs in your system.
yeah,
This is documented. The dopamine and the
yeah.
serotonin that's released is just, it gives you a boost.
And that's why I think it's so important to find an exercise you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't enjoy it, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to get that, you know, big boost, are you? Like for me, body combat was the ultimate.
Yeah.
Like recently at my gym, I still don't class myself as one of the fittest people there is. I'm definitely not. But at my gym, I teach on a Monday a Tabata class. Then I teach body pump. Then I teach body combat.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I was like, bloody hell, that's 3 hours of solid training on a
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Tabata, I'm fine to begin with. Body pump, get through fine. And you know, at the end of body pump, I'm a bit like, oh, I'm knackered now. I start body combat. And because I love it, all of a sudden, this rush of energy.
Yeah.
And like, by the end of it, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You know, I'm buzzing. But it gives you that big rush of like, yes, love it, love it. And I actually find, even though I've done 3 hours of classes, body combat, I've actually got through the easiest. It's like not a problem because I enjoy it so much. And I
It's
think when you
definitely
enjoy it, you
it's
get that.
definitely the one that I love the most. I do it all as well. Um I I do the body attack, the body combat, I do the body pump. I even
Yeah.
do the body tone. I do a class a week of usually, and I do the body balance at home, which is like yoga. And I've said to you, I'm not going to do any of the body balance classes because I'll just fart my whole way through it. I can't do that. It'll be a toxic cloud in the whole room.
Did you fart during pump last time?
Oh, don't no! I didn't think anybody would notice.
I
Oh,
started
don't no! Oh, I'm
I thought
mortified.
you did then.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody noticed
I think it was
last
about
night.
I don't think anyone else did. I think it was we'd had a
Okay,
conversation just a couple of days ago about you farting
about
during
body
classes.
balance. And I think you sat at it because we were about to do chest, and I sat on the edge of the thing. And
Yeah.
okay, as long as only you heard it, nobody else. So yeah, I can't do the yoga class, but the
Well,
yoga classes were always full, aren't they?
well, I started laughing and I looked at you and you were like looking down. I was like, did I hear that right?
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you think I did? I knew I'd done it, so I looked down and said, "Oh, squeaky floorboard down there. Look at that." You know, I thought if anybody, okay, so it kind of worked.
This is what I mean. This is why classes are so much fun because you get you got people. I've done a boot camp before, and I had one lady farting throughout. I was doing my best to be professional, but oh god, I was crying. I could see people in the room, like oh, you know, it was just hilarious. And like the woman knew she was doing it. She was like, "Yeah, what happens? You know, who cares? We all do it."
Well, how's it affected? Like, I mean, I can imagine you said you always felt you were a big girl and you were depressed and whatever. That's got to take its toll on your relationships and your friendships. Since you've you know, lost the weight and become a trainer, and you're obviously mental health's better, your confidence is up. How's your relationships? How's it affected them?
Not that much different, if I'm totally honest. The friends I had are still the friends that I've got now. I've always been quite a close, like, friends person. Like, I have a few close friends than loads of just people that you know. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people seem to know everyone. I don't. I have close friends, and that tends to be it. And to be fair, a lot of my friends are blokes because I just get on better with them. You know, you can fart in front of them and it's fine.
As I've just found out.
But to be honest, I've got a few, like my best mate Vicky. She's, you know, she's still my best mate. Like, she's not into exercise or anything at the minute, but you know, maybe one day she will. But to me, that's fine. We don't have to have the same interests, although we do have the same interests in the fact that we still go to the pub together and drink
Yeah.
beer. You know,
I've noticed how, like, I've found friends since I've gone to the gym. That's why
yeah,
I've obviously met you and a
yeah,
few of the other people, and we've actually become quite friendly.
yeah,
And so if anybody is listening to this and is worrying, maybe they're a little bit lonely at home, that sort of thing, then could just be the tonic. And it's a council run gym, isn't it, that
yeah,
you work for? And
yeah.
every council up and down the country has got these gyms. And I think, has the councils in this country got a license with Les Mills, or is that, how does
Yeah.
it work?
I don't know whether it's every council, but I know with ours, we have a license with Les Mills for, I don't know how much it is, but we pay a license for body combat. We pay another license. You basically say, I want to teach 3 Les Mills programs: pump, combat, attack, and you pay Les Mills like that. Well, the gym pay Les Mills a fee to be able to teach it, but then we can advertise ourselves as a Les Mills.
And you have to learn, is it every 3 months you're learning a new hour?
Yeah, yeah. For every, so for me,
So you've got pump, you've got combat, and
yeah.
you're talking about doing another one as well. You're not stopping there, are you?
No, I mean, pump and combat for now. I really, really want to do grit, but we don't have the license for grit yet. So that's why I am trying to push for a grit license.
What's grit?
Grit is horrendous. It's only half an hour, and you have 3 different programs. So you have grit strength, grit athletic, and grit cardio. So strength is all barbell weights, weight. Cardio, and athletic is like quick turns and that kind of thing, high impact. But it's a kind of go at your own pace class. So the instructor will show you like a combination of, say, 3-4 moves, and you as a participant do as many as them as you can. So it might be a pull, press, into burpee, or that's not the thing, but it could be. So then you as the participant do as many press, burpee as you can. It's not a class as in you have to follow it in the same time as everyone else.
Okay.
You do it at your own pace.
Okay.
But it's brutal. I
We'll
love
see
it.
what happens, whether that comes. You know, you when you first started taking your classes, you said it was the end of the year. How much of an influx of people do you get in January? And can you spot the people who are going to be still here in July, August, and who's made a New Year's resolution and is going to go once or twice?
Yeah, because it depends on what questions they ask as well. I'd say working in the gym, my most asked question is, what machine or class is going to give me abs?
None of them.
The
Isn't that the
kitchen.
answer? The
What you do in
kitchen.
the kitchen. What you do in the kitchen is your answer. And they look at me as if to say, you're a twat. I'm like,
Isn't
no,
there a
what?
pill I can take?
Like, and that's what I was trying to explain is everyone has abs. It's just
Yeah.
surrounded by a layer in front of them, or a couple of layers. It's what you do to get that layer off as to whether they show through or not. And believe you me, most of the people who do have abs are probably miserable as sin, living off bloody leaves and lettuce and, you know. But it tends to be the ones that ask questions of, what's going to get me there quickest. They're not interested in exercise.
Yeah.
They're interested in how quick am I going to lose weight, because then I can
Right.
stop. Whereas you get the people who ask different types of questions of, oh, but why do we do that? And why is this going on? And how can I do this? They're the ones that you tend to find stay. You can always kind of tell on.
People who are looking for a quick fix,
Yeah.
not going to stick around you, do you mean?
No. Yeah. Anyone for a quick fix. They'll join, they'll probably die off, but you'll probably see them again next January joining again, because they're going to do it this year.
I was that person.
Yeah, I've been that person. I have been that person 100%. And I understand the mentality behind it, but I think it's the lack of education surrounding food, nutrition, exercise, that people, there is so many fad diets, Slimming Mold, Weight Watchers, Cambridge, so many fad diets which promise you these quick, fast results, which are just bollocks.
Yeah,
And
they've preyed on people's, like,
Yeah.
people want it, don't they? And they've preyed on it
Yeah, and
and
that's what people
sold
have been.
them snake oil.
Yeah, and they've been so used to buying into this stuff and doing it. And the amount of times that I heard, I've done Slimming World and it worked, or really lost weight on Slimming World. Okay, so why
What
are you
happened
back
then?
then? Why have you put the weight back on then? Because I stopped it. Like, well, there you go then, it didn't work.
I
But
used to
every
try
time, and they say like every time I've done it, it works. I was like, yeah, but then you stop doing it. And that's the problem. You stop doing something. So as soon as you go back to normal eating, you put the weight back on. The trick is to find your balance of what you can eat. So I say eat as much as you possibly can and still lose weight. And then once you've lost the weight and you're happy, you go into a maintenance of, I'm just going to maintain of what I'm eating. Don't cut anything out, because that's when you crave it.
Yeah, I'm really lucky in that aspect. So I won't talk to so much about my food, because I can eat whatever the hell I want. And people are going to hate me for saying that. Fitness, what you're saying there, fitness is the reason you need to go to the gym. It's to get fit. It's for your health. And like, this is why I've been asking you questions like, how has it made everything else better in your life, and what positives have you come? Because it's not the fitness thing. It's not the abs that you're doing it for. The abs come. I've got abs. They come, and they're the more I do this, but I'm not doing it for that. That's the reward on its own. It's the fitness aspect, and you need to have that mindset to get the abs. If you don't have that mindset, you're not going to get those results in the first place, and you're setting yourself up to fail, aren't you?
Yeah. So for me, like, I tend to do more lifestyle coaching to educate people around, you can eat whatever you want. Now, as we said before, you can eat chocolate all day, every day, and lose weight. You won't be healthy, but you can lose weight. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, like energy investing, energy, but fitness is fitness. You go to the gym to be fit, to be, when you're 80 years old, you want to be able to sit on the toilet and wipe your own arse on your own, not because I want abs. You do it for your life, and for me as well, like, especially like your mental health and everything. That's why you do it.
People need to also understand and not kid themselves with certain aspects of their life. And the reason I say that is this: there were twins once, identical twins. My missus told me about this story a while ago, and she's probably going to be happy I'm bringing this up. But they ate everything the same, and they went to the same gym classes, and the scientists couldn't understand why one of these twins was losing weight and the other one wasn't. Right. So they tried everything until the point that they actually put cameras in these twins' homes. And what they found was remarkable, because when they got home, the one twin would sit down in front of the computer like this, and the other twin wouldn't stop fucking walking from room to room to room. She was just doing 25,000 fucking steps a day, just walking throughout the house. And it's stuff like that you know, you're not gonna, if you're unfit and you haven't been to a gym for 20 years and you go to a body combat class, it's gonna hurt, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt. I gently, I got fit. I started with walking. Walking is a brilliant exercise, and if you can and you're unfit, start there. And don't get deterred if you get injured.
Yeah.
As you can attest to.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
we've been talking for about an hour. I said I didn't want to keep you anymore. Is there anything like that you wanted to talk about that we haven't covered? Is there anything that you wanted to highlight?
Just mainly anyone thinking about joining a gym, joining classes, just try one. Go with the idea of trying one class, see how you get on. You know, everyone enjoys something different. As I say, for me, combat was what got me into it. You know, body combat. A few years later, I've lost 8 stone and I'm now a personal trainer. How you can change your life is down to you. You know, it's not down to anyone else. You know, people like the amount of times I got shit for, go on, have another drink, have another drink. And I was like, no, I've got to get up because I'm doing body combat in the morning. Have another drink, have another drink. No. You know, it's your own choices as to what you want to do and how that impacts on your life. You know, the choices that you make today are going to be what helps you in the future. So choose wisely what you want to do.
And do a class.
And do a class.
Do a class, not the gym floor.
Yeah.
Do a class. You'll see what I mean. If you see both of them, and I know you're an instructor, but there's a different atmosphere in a class than you get on the gym floor, isn't there? You don't get that energy in the gym that you do in a class.
Exactly. Definitely.
That really helped me anyway.
Yeah.
Claire, thanks so much for doing this.
No, thank you. No.
Thanks so much. And yeah, I'll see you later for another body combat class.
Hey.
We shall kick some ass.
Which I've learned a few new ones for tonight, so I'm going to throw them in there. So
I look forward to it. Thanks so much, Claire.
No, thank you very much. Really enjoyed talking to you.
Me too.